Hello everyone. Welcome to my online classroom. Today we are going to discuss class 9 history chapter 1, the French Revolution. Now just let's see the flowchart. In flowchart I have mentioned all the important headings of this chapter. According to that we have to cover this chapter, and as we all know students that French Revolution it is a history chapter, so of course the chapter is very lengthy. So I tried my best to write down the important headings in under this flowchart so that we can easily understand the whole chapter throughout this flowchart. First of all, throughout this flowchart, I have divided this flowchart into three types and three ways. In the sense, suppose first I mention the causes of the French Revolution. Second, I have mentioned the course of the French Revolution. Course of the French Revolution means main events of the French Revolution. And last, I have mentioned the legacy of the French Revolution. Legacy means what is the significance, what is the importance of the French Revolution. So under these three main headings, we are going to understand this chapter, that what the importance of this French Revolution we have in our history and in our life. Here under the causes of the French Revolution, we are going to discuss what are the main reasons behind of that, why French Revolution was held. So now let's see, and we are going to start the flowchart. The first heading is introduction, students. So introduction, under the introduction we are going to write about this, that the French Revolution is regarded as a great landmark not only in the history of France but also of Europe. If you have remembered, one historian also called it a World Revolution. It gave to humanity the ideas of liberty, equality and fraternity. Fraternity means brotherhood. It shook the old traditions and institutions. So the year in which the French Revolution was held, that is 1789, which we all have to be remember. Now, what are the reasons behind of that, of the French Revolution, the causes, main causes? So I have divided the main causes into 5 parts. So first we have the social causes. Second, I have mentioned the political causes. So these are the subheadings which are coming under the causes of the French Revolution. So first I am going to repeat. First is the social causes. Under that, what is the important line? I have mentioned under that what we have to read and what we have to write in the exam, that also we are going to be discussed right now. After that, we have second heading, that is political causes. Under that also some important headings is there, that also I mentioned right now, so that it will be very helpful to us to understand that under which heading what the content is be given, what we have to understand, what we have to write. Third, we have economical causes. Fourth, we have psychological causes. Under if you can see, so under this I have mentioned all, like whatever important points are there, like heavy national debt, defective system of taxation. And next we have psychological causes. What are the reasons are behind of this French Revolution, especially the psychological reasons? So that also I mentioned that French philosophers were the influence of the American War of Independence. And last, fifth one, the cause which is mentioned here, that is immediate cause. So the weak finances of France was the immediate cause of the revolution. So one by one we are going to discuss in a deep way, but first of all let's see all the flowchart, whole flowchart. So next we have, after the causes, we have the course of the French Revolution. Under the course of the French Revolution, I have mentioned here all the important various events which were held during the French Revolution. It was not a quick process. If we are going to do any revolution, so of course some things we have to be done. So for it takes some time. That's why it is mentioned one by one. All the headings are here. So it is a very lengthy process. Maybe by seeing this, we can say that it is a very lengthy chapter. But of course, the chapter, it is very important. So I want that deep knowledge is be important. So first is meeting of this East States General I mentioned, tennis court oath I mentioned here, then royal session, fall of Bastille, work of the National Assembly, King's attempt to flee, the Legislative Assembly, war with Austria, the National Convention, execution of Louis XVI, Reign of Terror in France, Directory, the last phase, and last is the legacy of the French Revolution. And here we will discuss about the impact of the French Revolution on France and impact of the French Revolution on world. After that, the last heading of this chapter, we have rise and achievements of Napoleon. Because from the Napoleon, also from this topic, we are getting the questions in exam. So that's why I mentioned all this, and how the question will become. That's also I am going to tell you. That suppose they will ask, like, write down the causes of the French Revolution, like this. In this way, they can ask. So we are going to write all these causes, like social causes, political causes, economical causes, immediate causes, psychological causes, or maybe they will ask one particular cause, like explain the social causes of French Revolution, explain the political causes of the French Revolution. So in this way, question will be come in the exam. So let's start the causes of the French Revolution. Let's try to understand what the main social causes. So first we have social causes. So students, I have mentioned here, the society in France consisted of three classes called estates, the clergy, the nobles, and the commons. If we are going to see the France society, so that time the France society was divided into three classes. There are some categories are there. So according to those three classes, there were three estates. The whole society was divided into three estates. First was the clergy, second class, the nobles, and the commons. Third one is the commons. So again, I am going to repeat the whole social causes. The French Revolution was as much due to the political causes as it was due to the social causes. There was social inequality in France. The society in France consisted of three classes called estates, the nobles, the clergy, and the commons. The first two classes enjoyed special privileges and lead a happy life. They formed 10% of the whole population but owned 40% of the national wealth. They paid no taxes. The third class was the unprivileged class. The people belonging to this class were being crushed under the heavy burden of taxation, and as such they led a miserable life. So in this way we are going to be understand that when society was divided into three estates, and the two classes, they were enjoyed all kind of facilities, and the third, the commons, those consisted 95% of the whole population, they were not getting any rights, any privileges. Privileges means a special kind of rights, so they were not getting any kind of rights. Discrimination was there, and they had to pay the huge taxes. That's why they were not be satisfied with the rule of the government, with the rule of the monarch. Now, before of that, I also want to explain the meaning of the revolution. What do you mean by the French Revolution? First of all, this revolution belongs to the French country. That's why we say it's French Revolution. And what it means, the revolution. Revolution means a kind of change. Only in a simple word, I want to explain here. Revolution means a kind of change, and of course, the change we are going to take in our life in a positive way. So any kind of change which is positive for you, that is said revolution. After that, we are going to discuss the second cause, that is the political causes. Here also I mentioned some headings. One by one we are going to discuss what these headings means. First of all, for any country, if any revolution is going to be there, so of course some reasons are behind of that. First of all, the rule, maybe any government rule or maybe any monarch rule. So here the first mistake was be there due to what French Revolution was held, that was the arbitrary rule of Louis XVI. After that, we have second, inefficient administration. C, we have maladministration of justice. D, weak and incapable monarchy. E, we have expensive monarchy. And last point, under these political causes, we have absence of any representative body. So first of all, we are going to discuss about the rule of Louis XVI. The rule of Louis XVI, the government of France was highly centralized monarchy. Louis XVI was an arbitrary ruler of France. He believed in the theory of divine rights of the king. He enjoyed unlimited powers and rights. His will was law. He could appoint or dismiss any person. He could impose any tax he liked. He could inflict any punishment and throw anybody into prison without any trial. He used his powers for his own selfish ends and did not do anything for the welfare of the people. That's why the rule of Louis XVI was not be so famous or popular, but because of that, the French Revolution was be held. So it was become a main reason for the French Revolution. Second, we have inefficient administration. So of course, the administration under the Louis XVI, that was not be the capable. All the ministers and all the departments where the people they work there in offices everywhere. So administration, they were not capable to hold the departments. That's why it is mentioned inefficient administration was with there. Maladministration of justice. There was also a great confusion in the legal system of the country. There were no uniform laws for the whole country. Different laws were in force in different parts of the country. It is said that there were about 400 different systems of law prevailing in France. As I said right now, I said that total 400 different systems of laws prevailing in France. So of course in any country, if law are different types, so it shows us that for different people they apply different law. So it means there is no any chance of justice when we are going to do the partiality. After that, next heading we have weak and incapable monarchy. The monarch, the system of monarch, all the things, whatever the decision took by the Louis XVI, that was not be okay with everyone. That's why it shows that he was weak and incapable. After that, we have expensive monarchy. He spent a lot of money in different by different ways and on the different things. That's why it shows expensive monarchy was there. After that, we have absence of any representative body, just like we have parliament and government, we have political parties, we have that time there it was not any kind of representative body was there. That's why it's also lacking the representative body. After that, we have the third economical causes. So under the economical causes, we have two parts. First of all, the heavy national debt, and second, we have the defective system of taxation. And the defective system of taxation, of course, it shows us that already we have discussed about the social causes, that the society was divided into three estates: the clergy, the nobles, and the commons. And the third group, the commons, they were paying tax, but other they were not paying any kind of tax. So that's why it shows us defective system of the taxation. After that, we have the fourth point, that is psychological causes. The French philosophers also give a lot of their work and their work in this French Revolution. Here, just like we are going to discuss about the Montesquieu, Voltaire, and Rousseau. By their books, by their writings, they shows to the common people that what is the importance of the revolution, why we have to be against of the monarch. Next, we have the immediate cause. So what were the immediate cause were there due to what the revolution was we held? So it is mentioned the weak finances of France was the immediate cause of the revolution. So under this, all these points we have discussed right now, what are the important reasons because of that the French Revolution was we held. After next, we have the cause of the French Revolution. After that, I also make the video of this through the chapter, in which line to line I will explain to you. Now, see, course of the French Revolution, events of the French Revolution. First is the meeting of the Estates General. Second, we have Spanish Court Oath. Third, we have the Royal Session. Fourth, we have fall of Bastille. Fifth, we have work of the National Assembly. Sixth, we have King's attempt to flee. Seventh, the Legislative Assembly. Eighth, we have war with Austria. Ninth, we have the National Convention. 10th, we have execution of Louis XVI. And 11th, we have Reign of Terror in France. 12th, we have Directory. 13th, we have the last phase. And after that, our new heading is going to be start. So, meeting of the Estates General. First of all, we have to understand the first point under this course of the French Revolution. So, under this meeting of the Estates General, the king organized or called the Estates General on May 5, 1789 AD, after a lapse of 175 years. It was composed of the representatives of three orders: the clergy, the nobles, and the commons. Each order met separately, and its decision was taken as one joint vote. The result was that the clergy and the nobles had the upper hand and decided all the matters as they liked. At the time of its meeting in 1789 AD, the Estates General consisted of 1200 delegates. Of these, the commons had 600 representatives. They demanded that the three orders were to meet as a single chamber in which each individual should have a vote. The clergy and the nobles resisted this demand the Third Estate took a momentous decision and declared itself to be the National Assembly on June 17, 1789 AD. By this, they claimed the right to speak and act for the whole nation. This was revolutionary in its very nature. So under the meeting of the Estate General, we have to write all these important points. After that, we have the tennis court oath. Let's see what it means, tennis court oath, because it is also very important heading, and it also from this question is coming that explain the tennis court oath, why this name is be taken as the why this whatever event was be there, why we have given that event the name tennis court oath. So actually under this, under the undue influence and pressure of the high order, the king tried to oppose the proceedings of the Third Estate and posted German and Swiss soldiers in Paris and Versailles to suppress them. He deposed Necker and later on exiled him. On June 20, 1789, the members of the Third Estate tried to assemble in their chamber, but they were checked by the king's soldiers. They then assembled in the neighboring tennis court to hold their session. They took an oath there, which is known as the tennis court oath. So actually, the place where they took the oath, that place was the tennis court. That's why this oath or this event was known as the tennis court oath. They took an oath not to, and now let's see what was the oath they took. They took an oath not to separate till the constitution of the kingdom is prepared. So this oath was took by the people of the Third Estate that they till the constitution of the kingdom is not be prepared, they will not separate it. They will again they will meet and they are going to take their decisions. Third, we have the royal session, June 23, 1789 AD. Now let's see what was the royal session. The royal session was, however, held on June 23rd, 1789 AD. In this session, the king declared the acts of Third Estate as illegal and ordered that meeting of the three estates should be held separately as usual. Consequently, the master of the ceremonies ordered the members of the Third Estate to clear the chamber. At this, forced by circumstances, the king ordered the three estates to meet together as the National Assembly. It was the first victory of the commoners. After that, next we have the fall of Bastille. I want to tell you what was the Bastille. Bastille was a prison in the France. Under the force of circumstances, the king recognized the National Assembly, but he wanted to crush it by force. He posted foreign troops for the protection of Paris and Versailles and dismissed his popular minister Necker. But this action of Louis XVI led to chaos and anarchy and infuriated the people. The mob assembled in Paris and stormed the Bastille jail on July 14th. 1789 AD. This jail was a symbol of king's despotism. The mob razed the fort-like jail to the ground and freed the prisoners. The fall of Bastille was in a way the fall of the monarchy. It was hailed as a great victory of liberty. Next we have the heading, the work of the National Assembly. The National Assembly worked from 1789 to 1791 AD and did commendable works. So under what were the works done by this National Assembly? First is the abolition of the rights of the privileged class. Both the privileged class like the clergy, the first is the clergy and the second the nobles, whatever privileges they were getting by birth, privileges, special rights that they were to not pay any kind of taxes, they are holding a lot of big pieces of land. So all these kind of privileges were abolished by this National Assembly. Second, we have the Declaration of Rights of Man. Under this, important rights were be mentioned like all men are born free and have equal rights. All persons are equal in the eyes of law. All persons have the liberty to do whatever they like, provided they do not injure other people. All persons have the right to express their views. Law is the expression of the will of the people. all the citizens will enjoy religious freedom. So this kind of important rights will be mentioned under this Declaration of Rights of Man. In the same order, they form new constitution of 1791. Next heading we have King's attempt to flee. When this Louis XVI was with charges for the treason, after that the King's attempt to flee. So under, let's see what was the whole content. He was the most prominent leader of the National Assembly. Mirabeau died on April 2, 1791 AD. He was the most prominent leader of the National Assembly. He belonged to high order and was the supporter of the monarchy. After his death, the king felt helpless and thought of fleeing to Germany. He tried to flee away from France with his queen and children on June 20, 1791 AD, but he was caught and brought back to Paris. So under this heading, we have to write and we have to understand only this once how the king's attempt to flee to the Germany, but that step was not be completed. That was totally failed, and he was brought back to the Paris. Then next we have the Legislative Assembly. Election of the members during the 1791 to 1792. Election of the members of the Legislative Assembly took place in France according to the constitution framed by the National Assembly, and its first session was held on October 1, 1791 AD. So under this election was started. After we have the next war with Austria, the revolutionaries of France instigated the people of other countries to revolt against monarchy and set up a republican form of government. They also assured them of their solid help. The King of Austria, Leopold II, brother of Queen Marie Antoinette, she was the wife of the Louis XVI, wanted to check the propagation of the revolutionaries' ideas and help Louis XVI against the revolutionaries. So he declared a war against France on April 20, 1792 AD with the help of Prussia and other countries. After that we have the ninth heading, that is the National Convention, and the year which is mentioned because it is history of a year we all have to be remember, and this is very important. 1792 to we have 1795 AD. The French army was defeated in Netherlands. The revolutionaries had Louis XVI responsible for it. The mob attacked the King's Palace on August 10, 1792 AD under the leadership of Danton. The mob captured the palace and looted it mercilessly. They imprisoned the king along with his family. Later on, he was suspended and forbidden to perform any administrative functions. The real power came into the hands of the Jacobean Club and its leader Danton till the session of the National Convention in 1792 AD. Next we have the execution of Louis XVI. That was the year and the date is 21st January 1793 AD. The Girondists did not want to execute the king without trial. They wanted to leave this matter to the people. On the other hand, the Jacobeans favored the execution of the king without trial. As the Jacobeans had influence in the convention, the king was charged of treason after a nominal trial and was executed on January 21, 1793 AD. His last words were, "Gentlemen, I am innocent of that of which I am accused. May my blood assure the happiness of France." His queen was also hanged on October 16, 1793 AD. After that, the reason of death, the next heading we have, that after the execution of the Louis XVI, what was the condition of the France? So that time also the condition was not very good because of the Jacobean Club. So I am going to be explain what was the whole matter. France was engulfed by dangers from all sides. England, Austria, Prussia, Spain and Holland formed the first coalition against the French Republic. The Jacobeans appointed Carnot as war minister. He was very capable and experienced person. Emergency was declared in France. It was made compulsory for every young man between the age of 18 to 25 to render military service. By this method, he raised an army of lakh 7,000 soldiers by this effective plans of campaign and war policy, he turned the defeat of France into victory. Carnot was rightly called the organizer of victory. A committee of public safety was organized to deal with the enemies of the state. The supreme executive authority of the state was vested with it. Carnot and Robespierre were also the members of this committee. It followed the policy of blood and iron. Reign of terror was let loose in France, and it continued for about 1 year. About 5,000 persons were butchered in Paris alone. So that's why that situation was known as the Reign of Terror. Next we have the Directory. Under the Directory heading, which is the year we have 1795 to 1799 AD. Here the National Convention framed the parliament of that France. So what work they were done here? They formed a new republic constitution for France. According to the new constitution, the executive authority of the state was vested in a committee of 5 directors. It was known as Directory. The new constitution was introduced in 1795 AD and the Directory worked up to November 1799 AD. The Directory, however, failed to solve the problems of the country and improve its conditions because the directors were selfish and inexperienced persons. The Directory became very unpopular because of its inefficiency and corruption. It was torn by mutual jealousies. The administration had become very loose and lives of the people had become very miserable. So under the Directory, these are the important lines which we all have to be understand, and we have to be right if the question will become related to this heading. After under these causes, the course of the French Revolution, the events of the French Revolution, the last heading we have the last phase 1799 to 1815, and after that is going to be completed. So here Napoleon overthrew the Directory in 1799 AD and established a consulate in France. The executive power was vested in 3 councils and one of them acted as the first council. Napoleon became the first council. So here I want to tell you in class 10th, some content related to the French Revolution, also some points are be there in history of class 10. So that's why I'm telling to you it is very important to learn and to remember all the points which we have read here. Here just like 1 mark question is be coming sometime, who was become the first council. So of course answer is the Napoleon became the first council. After that we have the legacy of the French Revolution, the third main heading of this chapter, that is legacy of the French Revolution. Just like first is the causes, then the cause, the events of the French Revolution, and now we have the legacy of the French Revolution. So under the legacy of the French Revolution, I divided this heading into 2 important points. Okay, what was the impact of the French Revolution on France, and we can say importance of the French Revolution in France history and the significance of the French Revolution on France. Same for the impact of the French Revolution on world, what we have learned from the French Revolution, and because of this French Revolution the other countries also got some messages, and by that in their countries also revolution were held. So now just see impact of the French Revolution on France if we are going to see here. So the French Revolution put an end to arbitrary rule and developed the idea of People's Republic in Europe and subsequently in other parts of the world. I repeat again, this is our first point, that what is the impact of the French Revolution on France. This is the French Revolution put an end to arbitrary rule and developed the idea of People's Republic in Europe. It also inspired the other parts of the world. Second, we have it inspired the people throughout the world with the ideas of freedom and liberty, which subsequently formed the basis of national sovereignty. Third, we have the French Revolution praised the concept of equal rights for all the citizens, which subsequently became the concept of equality before law for all people. So in this way, we can understand what is the importance of the French Revolution on France. Even now, we are going to discuss what is the impact of French Revolution on world. First of all, from the French Revolution, we got the three important words, that is the liberty, equality and fraternity. In our constitution, in the preamble of the constitution, also these three words are being mentioned, and not they are mentioned, but we all follow these three words. So now it spread the idea of human fraternity, which is one of the chief attributes for promoting the ideas of love, unity and cooperation among the different sections of the society. Even the French Revolution gave the term nation its modern meaning and promoted the concept of nationalist, which inspired the people in Poland, Germany, Netherlands and Italy to establish nation states in their countries. So the French Revolution throughout the whole world, the world also got the new meaning of the nation. Before of that, they did not represent their countries as a nation. If you are going to see the Germany, so this kind of countries, they were divided into different states, different parts. So they are not going to count their country as a nation. But after the French Revolution, we understand, we got the correct meaning of the word nation. Next we have the French Revolution had a great salutary effect on the ruling monarchs, who took several measures to ensure people's welfare by introducing many reforms. Now students, last we have rise and achievements of Napoleon. So let's see just some points about the Napoleon before of completing this video. Napoleon was born in 1769 AD in Ajaccio, the capital of Corsica, a small island in the Mediterranean Sea. He was a man of miraculous talents. Miraculous talents means a lot of miracles, we say chamatkari. So miraculous talents. He was educated in the military schools of Rennes and Paris. He joined the army, and by dint of his exemplary heroism, immense courage and ability, he became the commander of the French army. He defeated Britain in 1793 AD, Sardinia in 1796 AD, and Austria in 1796 AD. So as we can see that after becoming the commander of the French army, he defeated Britain, Sardinia and Austria. Soon after, he became the first council of the Directory, as I already told you, and this is also 1 mark important question, so remember this. After few years, in 1804 AD, he assumed the title of the Emperor of France. By his ability and administrative efficiency, he established peace and order in the troubled land of France. Napoleon was an important figure in the history of the world and played an important role in it. He was a versatile genius and a marvelously gifted man. He was a man with a strong physique, great physical power, sharp intellect, and strong memory. He was a civilized and cultured person and a great writer and orator. So I think all the qualities, whatever qualities we want for a perfect leader, that all those we have under the Napoleon, in Napoleon. After that also, let's see what kind of reforms were done by the Napoleon. So he introduced many useful reforms. He established a national system of education to promote nationalism. He carried out many economic reforms to improve the finances of the country. He systemized the laws of the land and established a uniform system of law in the country. His code was very simple and clear. His administrative system was so efficient and useful that his successors followed it for a very long time. So this is the whole content of this chapter which we have completed under this video. Now again, I want to repeat that what we have completed, because revision is very important. So in my next video lectures, videos, I will tell you how to remember, how to revise all these terms. So here let's see once again the whole flowchart of this chapter, the French Revolution. That is first of all introduction. We have to write what is the importance of the French Revolution, in which year it was held, and what was the main reasons behind of that. So whole about the French Revolution we are going to read under this introduction, what is the meaning of revolution. After that, we have the causes of the French Revolution. Here we have social causes, political causes, and then under this, some headings are be given. So revise it and think that you are able to write anything under these headings or not. We have to read the chapters also. So I also make one video by the line to line explanation of this chapter. So that will be very helpful to all of you. After that, we have the political, psychological causes, immediate causes. After that, all the causes of the French Revolution, the meetings of the East State Journal, all the headings, what were the important events will be there, that also I have mentioned here. So you can see and you can prepare. After that, legacy of French Revolution, what was the impact of the French Revolution on the France, and what is the impact of the French Revolution on world. And last we have the rise and achievements of the Napoleon. So now it is over. Now thank you everyone.